Hello there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to teach you how to make this dynamic Excel dashboard. This dashboard, it has three tables. Like I say, we have the revenue table, we have the personnel cost table, and we have the operating expenses table. So all this information are summarized in this dashboard you're seeing here. If you're presenting a report, present it in a dashboard, because the very moment he's looking at the dashboard, like he knows what he's looking for. He knows that okay, this is our expected revenue, and this is actually our actual revenue, and these are expected expenses, and this is our actual expenses. So that is what he's looking at. In that case, what it should be is we should be able to do something like this. Now, our top five highest paying expenses is this. We have the repairs and maintenance, we have the supplies, and we have the rent and mortgage, and we have the taxes, we have advertising. These are our top five highest paying expenses. Now, without wasting much of our time, let's go right into the video. Alright, so this is our revenue table. What I'll be doing is to calculate the variance. And like I said, there are different ways you can calculate variance, especially when it has to do with revenue. The way you calculate variance for revenue is different from the way you calculate variance for expenses. Why? In revenue, we expect that our actual revenue should be more than our expected revenue. So if the actual revenue is not actually more than the expected, that means we have unfavorable variance, or we have an unfavorable revenue. So what it means is that this actual minus estimated is going to give us negative, because our estimated is more than our actual revenue. So what you do after you have gotten that, you just pull it down. When you have done that, you can see this is what we have. You also come back to your personnel cost. Now, because this is cost, we expect that our estimated should be more than our actual. Yes, because nobody wants to. You remember the main aim, the main objective for every budget is cost control. So that is what we're doing. We're trying to do cost control here. We're trying to say, okay, our estimated should be higher than our actual. But in case where our estimated is not higher than our actual, then we have favorable. So in this case, we have estimated minus actually the same thing here. So once you have done it, just once you do the first one, you just double click on this line. It will not pull it up immediately. It will not fill the revenue calculations up immediately for you. Then you come back to your operating expenses. Operating expenses, the same way you calculated the personnel cost, that's the same way you calculate your operating expenses. So it's going to be our expected revenue minus our expected expenses minus our actual expense. Now you can see that our estimated is lower than our actual. That means we spend more than we have budgeted. So after you do that, you now click and drag, expand this to see the values there. So you can see this is what we have. All these ones in red and in bracket means that we have an unfavorable variance. So after you have calculated these variances, it's now time to link the variances back to the dashboard. So to do that, come back to this place, add another sheet, drag it to the end and name it. It's now time to link this thing back onto the dashboard. So you have to link the totals. What we want to do now, you have to link the totals. So calculate these totals. You can automate it by saying alt equal to give you the summation. So click and drag it to the right. It will sum other ones. The same thing here, alt equal to, click and drag to give you everything there. Then we also have this place alt, because what I need is the totals. I don't need the individual expenses or individual revenue. So what I need is the total. So we now have this. So once you're done with that, you can come back to this place. I like giving the space so that I can be able to put the name of the budget on top of it. So here I have budget item. So that is it. This is how it's going to look like. So once you have typed this like this, you now put your equal sign here. Come back to your revenue and click on the total revenue, click OK. You can see it will link it up. The same thing you do here. Now this one, because both of them are cost, what you're going to do is you put this cost like this, You can choose to put minus at the front and minus here because you want to add this total cost. You want to add this. You want to add the total of this. Sorry, the total of this minus this. Minus is plus. So once you do that, you click OK. You can see that it is now showing that this is total expenses and it's even minus. So what it means is when you come here now you can say this is your net sales or net profit. So your net expected profit is going to be equal to sum. It's going to be equal to sum. You sum the two because this one is already negative. It's going to minus it and give you this value. So the same thing here, you can just do highlight like this, Control R. Control R is to automatically fill that out for you. And you can see that this one is linked to this as well. So you can see. Now let's get the variance. Like I said, total revenue. Our actual revenue should, let's go, actual revenue minus expected is negative. Then expenses, our expected revenue is minus, our estimated this minus this. Now you can see this is what we have. We have a favorable difference. So because it's a negative, all of them are negative value. That's why we're having this. So we now compile this. We have now linked our revenue and our total revenue and total expenses to this table. So now the next thing we're going to do is to make our top 5 highest operating expenses. Now this is a little bit. This is where we're going to be a little bit of work. So what we have here, okay, let me see. What do we have here? We have the expenses, we have the amount, we have the percentage expenses, and we have the reduction. So I'll simply just copy this heading, come back to my own table here, then paste it here. So I have copied the heading and I'll move it back just to make this just to be fast. It's nothing. So here you have to do a little bit of calculation because we don't just want to pull out information from the operating expenses table. We want to pull out information that represent the top 5 highest paying expenses. So what we're going to do is, first of all, convert this thing into a table, convert this into a table, Control T. Yes, Control T. Yeah, when you convert it into a table, you have something like this. This is now totals. Then you can now rename this table so that you can identify it. Now OPEX, you can go with OPEX. I like using abbreviation, so I do fast OPEX. So we come back to this place. You now say, okay, this now we want to say, Excel, give me the largest operating expenses in this figure. Okay, and now after you put equal to large, then Excel is now asking in which array, array means table. In which table do you want to put it? So because I've already named my table, there is no point of me coming back to this place to do something like this. No. So what I need to do now is just what I needed to do was just to. So what I need to do here now is to just type OPEX. It will bring out the table. I'm saying Excel, give me this table, and in that table, I want you to look. In that table you're going to give me, I want you to look inside. I want you to look inside the actual table, inside the actual. So once you look into the actual, I want you to give me this value. The first thing in the table. So you can see that Excel has pulled out the first values in the table. So the first highest value there, no, it's wrong. No, we have put a wrong figure. we have put a wrong calculations there. So let's check it. Let's audit our calculation, our formulas, and see. Okay, actually there's nothing wrong with our formula. The thing is that when we are converting those tables and those this data into a table, we included the totals table. That is why it's giving us because the totals table is higher than every other value. That's why it's giving us it. So what happens if we remove this total? Let's say we remove it. Let's go to home. Let's say delete. Anyway, it should remove everything here though. But that is, you can see that this is what we actually need. It's pulling out this information. This is what we need. So come back to this place now, and I'll just do alt. Give it the same value. Alt, same value. Alt, same value. So means these figures are no more in the table. So you can see we have this, and if you look closely to inside the table, the operating expenses table, you discover that this one, repairs and maintenance, has the highest amount there, which is 4,600, and that is what we have here as well. Now, how do we identify this here? So the next thing we're going to do now is we want to now identify, okay, Excel, we don't want to go by the way of now trying to pick out everything manually, or eyeball to eyeball, just be picking them out one by one. No, but we want Excel to match this information with what we have already in the table. So what we're going to do here now, we're going to say Excel index this. We are going to use the index formula, index this table. What table? Operating expenses. Then once you locate the operating expenses, match it with whatever value. Sorry, I just want to expand this place so that I can see my formula. It's not a problem, I'll still bring it back. Match it with whatever value you have. Match it with whatever value. Yes, match it with whatever value you have here. Once you do that, comma. Okay, before we do that, actually, we need to convert this into a table as well. Yeah, we need to convert this data into a table. So we have this 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, convert it into a table. Just convert it. Yeah, we have converted it into a table. So Excel will now take the reference index operating expenses, then comma, match it with whatever you see in the amount column. Then when you do that, now when you match what you have in the amount column, when you do that, you now pull the information out from the operating expenses again table. When you now go to the operating expenses table again, you now say, okay, pull this information out, match it with whatever amount that we have in the actual table, in the actual column. So that is what we are going to do. So we have now matched. What we did is we now say, okay, Excel, look into the operating expenses table. Once you find the operating expenses table, match the amount you are seeing in the amount column with the amount in the operating expenses table in the actual column. So that is what we are doing. So when you find that, comma, give us 0. Give us 0. Otherwise, give us 0. Otherwise, give us whatever you see here as 1. What is wrong? We have committed something. I think this parenthesis. There should be parenthesis here. Okay, now you can see that Excel has pulled the information out for us. Now this is it. We have repairs and maintenance. Now where you are seeing not applicable, this not applicable sign, it means that because there is no value here, there is not any value here. That's why you are seeing this place is showing M. But immediately we drag this down and the formulas change, the cell got filled up. You see that it will bring out other things. So just reduce this column because I've already gotten the formula. So what I did is I told the cell, okay, look into the operating expenses table. When you look into the operating expenses table, match the amount on the operating expenses table under the actual revenue, under the actual column. Whatever you see there, give me either 0, that is nothing, or you pull out 1, whatever info. 1 means whatever that is in that column. That is what it means. So this is what we got. So because this is what the highest paying expense is there, it's not because this is the first thing here, that is why you're using it. Okay, let's say this one now change. Let's say this changed to 5,000 naira. This one change. You see that it will change automatically. We don't need to go back and start. You can see that it has changed from that amount to this. So what you need to do here now is to pull everything down, click and drag. It will give you, of course, it will give you the same thing until you start changing the row number. So you now change the row number to what is happening. So when you change the row number, it will give you this. So change this one to 3. Change this one to 4. Change this one to 5. So you can see it represents the actual information in the table. So you can see this is it. We have now gotten our top 5 highest paying expenses. So you can choose to ignore all these things. Yeah. So that your boss will not call and say, why am I seeing this? Why is this thing showing? Is it correct? Are you sure these your formulas are correct? No, they are correct. Just ignore the errors because we know what we did here. So once you do that, now we want to get the percentage. The percentage is actually going to be equal to whatever you have here divided by the actual revenue. Because this is a negative form, I would like to actually remove this negative sign so that it will be positive again. And let me remove this, put this. Okay, same thing here. We already know that it's an expenses, so we can now, I don't want to see these percentages in negative form, so I will absolutely reference this reference. I'll fix this cell because every reference I'm taking from now is where it's going to be from here. I'll fix the cell, press my F4. So once I press my F4, I've logged this cell. I want to take every other thing should take reference from the actual revenue, that is cell that is under D7. That's where I want to take my D6. I want to be taking my reference from there. So you can see that it automatically pull everything out because everything is now automated. Everything is now automated. Everything is going to edit the formulas on those that click and check. You can see we have gotten that. So here we also need to fix this. Okay, this one should be plus. Then this formula will change. We have this minus this. Our total revenue minus our total expenses to give you something. Yeah. So we have it like this. Now this is what we have. They're almost true. The other things are not actually difficult. So you can see that we have gotten our total table. I told you that this is where there is work in this table. We have gotten that in this table, and we want to convert this as well into a table. So we are going to do Ctrl T. Yes, Ctrl T. We have converted it into a table as well. Ignore this, so that your boss will not call you and start querying you. Why do I have this error message? Just ignore this. Everything is correct, everything is perfect here. So in other note, this Excel table is looking somehow. I don't like this gray. What I mean that I don't like this gray line. So what I will do is come to my view and remove the gray line so that I have a plain sheet to work with. So after I have done that, the next thing I want to do now is to calculate my percentage changes. So how do we calculate our percentage changes? Our percentage changes is going to be what? Percentage changes is going to be whatever that is here multiplied by 15. Whatever that is here multiplied by 15. Whatever you are seeing there multiplied by 15. That is what we are going to do. We say 15% reduction. So we have equal to this multiplied by 15%. And see, this is what we have. Because this thing, I want to reduce it, I want to make it negative form, so I'll just put, let's say, minus this. You can see everything that comes back negative. Now, we have finished everything we're supposed to do. This is the major work. The remaining thing here is just to insert the chart and do some number formatting. So select the whole of this. Anyway, this one is already formatted, but let me show you how to do for this too, and this as well. So what I did is I click and drag here, then I hold my shift, I hold my control and also click this place and drag. So I now go to press Ctrl 1 to go to your formatting table. So I have come to my formatting table. I just want to use a plain number here, so I'll put a use 100 separators. We have put it in 2 decimal place. Anyway, if it's a negative number, put it in bracket and color it red. So this is what we have. You can see. Now this one, I want to make it, since it's a percentage, I'll go back to percentage, Ctrl 1, go to percentage in 2 decimal places and click OK. You can see this is now in percentages. So I can now get the totals. I can now say, okay, because this is a table, I don't need to go back and start doing all this. I'll just click on the table rows, with the total rows. You now come here. Why is it not summing it? Okay, you can sum it. Also sum this percentages and see your total percentage. Also sum this. You can see this is what we have. Now we have gotten this information. So what we are going to do next is to insert a chart. So click on any of the tables, come to your insert table, insert, come to recommended charts, come to what do we have? We say, yeah, I need a column chart. A column chart. So this is what the chart I want to insert. Click on the cluster chart column. So you click on it, because we don't need the difference, we don't need the variance column, just move it back. We don't need the variance column, and we don't also need the net profit column. So this is what we're going to have. So we now have this chart. Bring this chart here. Also, we also need a table, we also need a chart for this. So we don't need a chart for this reduction in percentage and expenses. All we need is a chart for these 5 items. What you're going to do, come back to your insert. Then this time around we are going to use a bar chart. This time around we are going to use bar. You can see that Excel automatically dictates the kind of information in the table, and it's giving you recommended table and charts for that. So you can see it's giving us bar chart. So we are going with bar chart. We're going with this. We're going with this clustered bar chart. That's what we are going with. Sorry, clustered bar chart. Bring it down here. So we don't need these informations. This is how much we need. So click and drag it. So I want to remove I want to format this a little bit. I don't want to see this amount on top. I want to see the chart title should be, the chart title is already there. So what does this table represent? You want to make sure that whatever information title you are giving your chart is what it represents. And just bring this back here. I don't want this this legend, so I can just remove it. Then I also come here. Now. The chart title is going to be our put the chart title. Sorry, the chart title is already there. So our chart title is going to be budget overview. Budget overview. But I don't like the way this thing is looking. What I will do is I want to reverse this. Okay, it's okay like this anyway. It's okay. Okay, I was thinking it's the other way around. So I want to reverse. I want this legend to be up. So I'll come to this place, click on what they call it, legends. Click here, and I'll say top. You can see it has gone up. Bring it here. Then I want to remove these gray lines. I don't like the gray lines. Okay, then that is basically all that we need to do here. You can see that we have automatically gotten our budget overview, what we expected and what we actually achieved during the month. What we expected and what we actually achieved during the month. This is it. So now this is our budget overview. Like I told you, any changes you make to any figure here, let's say this one change, this advertising change here, it will automatically calculate here as well. It will automatically calculate because advertising is still part of the five highest paying expenses. That's why you're still seeing it here. There's no change. So what the next thing to do now is to put your company name. Let's say, because me, I'm using Staff Academy, the name of our channel, Staff Academy. Then also push it up and just space this as they call it here. This is mostly automated. Budgets overview. Monthly budget overview or dashboard, and just scale it up. You can see we now have this. Then if you want to put the background color, you can just select everything and just put any color of your choice to go with this. Now you can see it's not looking that much beautiful, but we can still do something. Let's say we want to come back to this table. What I did is just after highlighting this, I hold down my shift and my control key, then I highlight the one. Then I click on it, come to format cells. So come to fill color, then look for something like any color you want at all. Yeah, this I don't actually like this. I'll go back there and change it to something a little bit close. Okay, and see, or I will choose to make this one the heading. I can say I want to make it black, something like this. Now you can see we have our budget overview. I hope you like this video. If you have actually gotten any value from this video, please do like and subscribe to this channel in order not to miss out of our future videos like this. Okay, sorry, there was something that I wanted to say, but I was thinking the chart is already in place and I decided to skip it. But I just discovered that I have not actually done it's not actually the way I expected it to be. So what I am seeing here is not actually what I want to see. What I'm seeing in this budget overview chart is not representing actually what I want to see, because I want to see that this column, because what the chart is showing me that these bars here are the total revenue expected and the total expenses expected. No, I don't want to see it like that. I want to see the expected revenue, and I want to also see the actual revenue, even though the chart is going to be the same thing, but I don't want to see this information like this. So what I will do is that I will now change this chart rows. I'll now switch the chart rows So come to switch rows and columns. So I'll switch the rows and columns so that this expected revenue will come down and this expected and total the actual revenue will also come down. So you can see that we now have the chart. We have this is our expected revenue here. This is our expected revenue and this is our actual revenue. You can see that the moment I click this, it's not saying that okay, this information and this are coming out from the same table. If you click this one as well, it will now show that this and this are coming from the same table. So this is how I actually want the data and the chart to be. I want it to be presented so that the moment you are looking at it, okay, this is what we were expecting and this is what we got at the end of the month. So that is all I wanted to say. The next video I'm going to upload is how to design loan and amortization table in Excel automated. It's not like the basic way or the manual way we were taught in school. Automated, something that we calculate, even though it's 100 years that the loan will last, it will automatically calculate that for you. That's what I'll be doing next video I'll be posting is based on loan and amortization table. Please do well to subscribe and follow this channel. Make sure you also share with your friend and see you in my next video.